At sunrise, she rushed out to 𝐿𝐵RA's place again. 𝐿𝐵RA opened the door, her eyes wide with worry. "You heard it again?" she asked. Onyeka nodded. "Yes. And she's angry now. She shouted, she wants her money." The girl sat under the mango tree, too scared to go back into the house. "What do we do now?" 𝐿𝐵RA asked. Onyeka's mind was racing. She doesn't just want justice. She wants to be heard. She wants Papa 𝐸𝐻 to confess. "But that man will never talk," 𝐿𝐵RA said. "He's too proud. Too rich. Too feared." Just then, they heard someone coming down the road. It was 𝐵𝐻𝐽, another tenant from the house. He was sweating and shaking. His shirt was torn. His eyes wide with fear. "𝐻𝐽. What happened?" 𝐿𝐵RA called. 𝐻𝐽 stumbled toward them. "I'm leaving that house. I saw her, in my room, she held my leg while I slept." Onyeka helped him sit on the bench. "She said, 'Give me my money,'" 𝐻𝐽 whispered. "I didn't understand. But I remembered your story, Onyeka." "She thinks every new tenant is owed you," Onyeka said softly. "The man who took her life." "But who is owed you?" 𝐿𝐵RA asked. "I don't know," Onyeka replied. "But I think Papa 𝐸𝐻 does." They all turned and looked toward Papa 𝐸𝐻's big compound at the far end of the road. Onyeka made up her mind. "We need help. Not from the police. Not from the elders. From someone who understands spirits." "You mean, a pastor?" 𝐻𝐽 asked. "No," Onyeka said. "A seer. Someone who can speak to the spirit and hear her." "There's one man," 𝐿𝐵RA said. "They call him 𝐷𝐵𝐻𝐽. He lives at the edge of the forest near the shrine. People say he talks to both the living and the dead." Onyeka nodded. "Let's go." By afternoon, they reached the edge of Nkpor forest. The path to 𝐷𝐵𝐻𝐽's hut was quiet, covered in thick green leaves. Birds called from trees above, and the air smelled of herbs and earth. They arrived at a small mud hut with feathers tied to the roof and a pot of burning herbs at the entrance. A voice came from inside. "I have been expecting you." They stepped inside. The hut was dark. The only light came from a small lamp hanging from the roof. Sitting in the middle of the room was a thin old man with white chalk on his face. His eyes were sharp and bright. "You carry the spirit of a child with you," he said, pointing to Onyeka. "She is angry." "Yes," Onyeka said. "Her name is Neloaku. She was killed and buried under our house. She wants justice," the man said. "But her spirit is confused. She was taken too soon. Tricked. Betrayed. She will not rest until the one who killed her is punished." "We think it's Papa 𝐸𝐻," Onyeka said. The man shook his head. "Papa 𝐸𝐻 is not the one who laid the knife. But he is the one who allowed it. His hands are covered in her blood." "What can we do?" 𝐿𝐵RA asked. "You must bring her spirit into the light," 𝐷𝐵𝐻𝐽 said. "You must call her name in the place she died. And you must bring her killer to that place." "But how do we do that?" Onyeka asked. "He will never go there willingly." The old man handed her a small bag filled with ashes and white stones. "Place this under his bed. It will make his dreams heavy. He will see her. And he will be pulled to the place of her death." 𝐻𝐽 stepped back. "You want us to do juju?" "This is not juju," the man said calmly. "It is truth. And truth must be seen before justice is done." That night, Onyeka sneaked into Papa 𝐸𝐻's compound. She waited until the lights were off. Then, carefully, she slipped through the side gate. She had watched the security man earlier. He usually dozed off after dinner. Inside, she found the window to the bedroom and carefully slid it open. With trembling hands, she dropped the small bag under the bed and whispered, "Neloaku, go to him." Then she ran. At exactly 1 a.m., Papa 𝐸𝐻 woke up sweating. He had heard something. A voice. "Auntie, you go by banana. But it was a girl standing by the edge of his bed. Rotten bananas on a tray. Eyes black like holes. Feet not touching the ground. He tried to scream, but no sound came out. Give me my money, she said. And then the tray dropped to the floor with a splat. Banana spilled. Blood followed. Papa Emma fainted. The rooster had not crowed yet when Papa Emma's scream echoed across Nkpor village. It was loud, sharp, and filled with fear. People who lived nearby sat up from their beds in confusion. Is it a thief? Did someone die? Even Felix, the gatekeeper, ran into the compound with a torchlight in hand. Papa Emma. Ogre. What happened? No answer came from inside the house. Felix knocked hard. Ogre, make you talk now. After a few moments, the door creaked open slowly. Papa Emma stood in the doorway. His clothes were wet with sweat, his eyes red and wide like he hadn't slept for days. Who put something under my bed? He asked, his voice shaking. Felix was confused. Something. Sir, not only you dey inside this house. Papa Emma said nothing more. He just sat down, breathing heavily. Later that morning, news spread fast. Papa Emma screamed like a madman in the night. They say he saw a ghost. Some laughed, some whispered, and some were afraid. The ones who had once lived in his haunted house near the mango tree remembered their own nightmares, and they no longer found it funny. Meanwhile, Onyeka waited. She knew what had happened. The dream had begun. Back in her room, Onyeka opened her small notebook. She wrote down everything that was happening. Neloaku equals spirit still restless. Papa Emma saw her. She wants her money, a symbol of betrayal. We must bring him to the house. She sat back, thinking hard. 𝐬𝐮𝐫𝐽 said they must call Neloaku's name in the place where she died. That meant the exact spot in the house. But which room? Which part of the foundation? She needed help. Later that day, she and 𝐟𝐵𝐺 went back to the house near the mango tree. They walked quietly through the empty corridors. Most of the tenants had packed and left after all the strange things. Only Onyeka and two others remained, too poor to move elsewhere. The hallway smelled of dust and something else, like old blood and wet cement. Onyeka paused at the center of the house. This is it, she whispered. 𝐟𝐵𝐺 looked around. How do you know? I don't know. I just feel it. It's like she's watching us here. They both stood still. Then, like a breeze, a soft voice passed their ears. Help me, the girls shivered. I need to see 𝐬𝐵𝐺 again, Onyeka said. He must help us finish this. That evening, the old seer welcomed them back. She is awake now, he said. The one who killed her cannot run. But she didn't die by his hand, Onyeka said. It was someone else. Someone called Odiyu. 𝐬𝐵𝐺 nodded. Yes. Odiyu was the one who offered her. But Papa Emma gave the order. He paid for her blood. And he knows it. Will she forgive him? 𝐟𝐵𝐺 asked. The seer looked at the fire burning in the middle of the room. Only if he speaks the truth. Only if he stands on the spot and confesses before her spirit. And if he doesn't? Onyeka asked. Then he will die. Silence filled the room. Then the seer handed Onyeka a small wooden gourd filled with palm oil and white powder. This is the voice gourd, he said. Break it on the ground when he stands in the right place. It will open her ears. She will listen. The next day, Papa Emma locked himself inside his mansion. He didn't eat. He didn't go out. He didn't pick up his calls. He was afraid. But on the third night, something happened again. This time, he dreamt he was standing inside the half-built house, the very place he had once visited with Odiyu and the juju priest. It was dark. Cold. And then she appeared. Neloaku. Her eyes were hollow. Her dress torn. Her feet floated above the ground. Why did you let them take me? she asked, her voice soft but full of pain. I didn't know. Papa Emma shouted in the dream. I only gave the money. I didn't choose you. But you let it happen, she whispered. Papa Emma fell to his knees. Then the ground opened beneath him. He screamed. He fell. And woke up, his whole body shaking. That morning, he called Felix. Tell Onyeka to come. I want to see her. When Onyeka arrived, Papa Emma looked like a shadow of himself. His skin had lost its color, his hands shook, and his eyes were filled with fear. I need to go to that house, he said. Onyeka said nothing. She just nodded. As the sun began to set, they arrived at the house. The air was heavy. Even the birds seemed to avoid the place. Papa Emma stepped inside slowly, followed by Onyeka, Ebra, and Felix. They walked to the center of the house. The place where Onyeka had heard the voice. Where the ground still whispered with pain. Papa Emma stood there. And Onyeka raised the gourd in her hand. She smashed it on the floor. Crack. A wind rose up in the room. Dust swirled. The air grew thick. Then, quiet. Papa Emma fell to his knees. He began to speak. I was a poor man. I wanted wealth. I met Odiu. He told me what to do. A sacrifice. An innocent girl. I gave him the money. I didn't ask questions. I didn't care. And now she haunts me. His voice cracked. I am sorry. I am sorry. Silence. Then a soft sound. Footsteps. And then a whisper. My money is my life. Papa Emma looked up. And saw her. Neloaku. She was smiling. But there were tears in her eyes. She faded slowly into the air like smoke. And then, the room felt warm again. The wind stopped. The air became still. She's gone, Onyeka said softly. Papa Emma nodded. And for the first time in weeks, he wept. Even after Papa Emma confessed, Nkpor village was not at peace. Yes, the wind had calmed. Yes, the air around the house felt warmer. Yes, Neloaku's ghost had smiled. But there was still something left behind. That night, Onyeka sat on her bed, listening. No knocking. No bananas. No whispers. She finally slept well for the first time in days. But in the middle of the night, a cry echoed faintly across the village, not in the haunted house, but from a corner near the old bus stop. A mother was weeping. Mama Nelo. Ebra ran to Onyeka's house the next morning, panting. Onyeka, Mama Nelo is sick. She collapsed last night. People say her spirit has been disturbed. Onyeka stood up immediately. We need to go see her. They found Mama Nelo lying on a mat outside her small, cracked room. Her face was pale. Her eyes were open but unfocused. She kept whispering her daughter's name, said an old woman nearby. Over and over again, Neloaku, Neloaku, like she was calling her from far away. Onyeka knelt beside her. Mama, can you hear me? Her lips moved slowly. My pikin. She came to me, in white. She said goodbye. Tears filled Onyeka's eyes. She's free now, Mama. We saw her spirit. She smiled. She forgave him. Mama Nelo blinked slowly, her eyes growing clearer. She smiled. Yes. Mama Nelo smiled faintly. Then I can rest too. But Onyeka's heart was still heavy. That evening, she returned to the house one last time. She walked slowly through the empty rooms, letting her fingers touch the walls. She thought of Neloaku, so young, so brave, so innocent. She paused at the center of the house. This was where it all began. She sat on the floor and whispered, "Thank you for letting me see your story. Rest now." Suddenly, something strange happened. The candle Onyeka had brought with her flickered and danced. The room grew warm, almost too warm. Then she heard it again. A whisper. But not from Neloaku. Not from the house. From the earth itself. A dry, deep voice. They are not done. She jumped up, heart racing. Who? Who is not done? No answer. But in her chest, Onyeka felt a pull. Something wasn't finished. She ran out of the house and straight to Dibia Ofo's hut. The old man was waiting, as if he had known she would return. You heard them? He asked. Yes, Onyeka breathed. Another voice. It said, they are not done. Dibia Ofo nodded slowly. Because Neloaku was not the only one. Onyeka froze. What? There were others, the seer said. Odiu and Papa Emma, what they did was not one time. The blood in that house is not from one child. Onyeka covered her mouth with her hand. She could hardly breathe. Neloaku opened the door, the seer continued. Now the others will come. The forgotten ones. The ones still buried in silence. Ebra, who had followed Onyeka in, whispered, you mean more children were sacrificed? Dibia Ofo nodded. And their spirits, they are still trapped. That night, Nkpor was quiet. Too quiet. The air was heavy again. But it was not only near the house. People across the village began to feel strange. Women woke up crying without knowing why. Children heard voices in their dreams. Animals refused to go near certain paths. At midnight, a group of elders gathered in secret. Papa Emma was there, face pale and tired. I thought it was over, he said, shaking. I confessed. She forgave me. An elder leaned forward. But you did not tell us everything. Papa Emma was silent. The eldest among them, Papa Nedi, spoke. Tell us about Odiu. The one who did the killing. Papa Emma looked down. Odiu was my friend. He promised me wealth. He said the land needed blood. I gave him names. I paid. I looked away. I didn't want to know how it was done. And how many names did you give? Papa Nedi asked. Papa Emma whispered, 3. The room went silent. 3. 3 innocent souls. And only one had been heard. Where is Odiu now? One elder asked. Papa Emma looked up, fear in his eyes. He disappeared years ago. After the 3rd sacrifice. Then he must be found, Papa Nedi said. He is the key. If the other spirits are crying, he must answer them.
If you enjoyed the tale, if so, please like the video, share, comment, and don't forget to subscribe. Also turn on your notification to get more enchanted tales like this one. Goodbye.